for watching us here on Halton News. It's Thursday, November 19th, and I'm Jessica Kading. Taking a look at our COVID-19 reports today, 39 more people in our region have tested positive. When factoring in the recoveries, we now have 564 active cases in our region. 16 of those new cases are in Burlington. Both Oakville and Milton account for 10 new cases each, and Halton Hills has 3 new people who have tested positive. There are still 9 outgoing outbreaks at our local long-term care and retirement homes in Halton, and 1 at St. Dominic Public Elementary School, where there are a total of 3 cases. The latest outbreak to be declared is at Joseph Brant Hospital in a medicine inpatient unit. 3 healthcare workers and 1 patient have tested positive. The hospital's infection prevention and control team is working closely with Halton Public Health to monitor and test all patients, staff, and physicians who had direct contact with those infected with COVID-19. The affected healthcare workers are currently in isolation at home and will not return to work until they've completed the self-isolation period and are asymptomatic. Additional important measures have been taken to protect everyone, including restricting visitors from the affected unit, referred to as 7S100, unless there are exceptional circumstances. The outbreak at Georgetown Hospital is ongoing as well, with 2 people affected. We'll go now to Nikki Wesley, who's on the scene to speak with a Burlington restaurant owner about how new restrictions are affecting business.
Thanks, Jessica. So, as we know, we moved into the red zone here in Halton on Monday, and restaurateurs around the region, they're reeling from some of the new restrictions. We're here at the Kerrigan Arms. We're going to go in and speak with owner Dave Tuttle about how he feels about some of those new restrictions, including having only 10 people in the restaurant, 25 people outside, stopping bar service at 9 and closing by 10 p.m. As you can see behind me, he's built a structure to help with his patio to keep those people just a little bit warmer as we head into colder temperatures. And we'll head in now and speak with him.
I understand that we need to control the virus, and I'm a big supporter of that, and I'm a big supporter of masks, and I'm a big supporter of everyone getting healthy. But it's difficult, and each change has been difficult, and we've had quite a few since March. As a restaurant and talking to other restaurant owners, one of the biggest things that people are confused about is why restaurants are limited to 10 people if you can hold 300 people in your restaurant. And another, say a cafe that has 20 seats can still have 10 people. It doesn't make sense. And we would like it if there was more of a graduating scale. But it's frustrating, you know, I can go to Costco and there's a few hundred people in there every minute of the day. So throughout the day, there's thousands of people going through there. And there's no contact tracing, there's none of that. You come into a restaurant, we're cleaning every single surface that you touch and you use. Everyone's wearing masks, we're keeping our distance. We're the only places that's mandated to take customer tracing, take your information.
As temperatures have been dropping, restaurants have been scrambling to make their patios more appealing.
We've got restaurants that have set up these domes, or other restaurants that have set up, basically it looks like a circus tent with sides and plexiglass all around it. Some of them have done it basically creating another indoor space, and in the last few days they've had to scramble to open up 2 sides so it's not an indoor space, or in some instances they've taken them right down. There's a big cost to those. Depending on the size, it's anywhere from $3,500 a month to $5,000 a month to rent those structures.
Because of cost restraints, he can't afford a prefabricated structure, so he's built his own. Throughout the pandemic, he's tried to keep as many staff members employed as possible.
We're running on a skeleton crew already. I haven't had to affect hours till the end of this week, but then coming up with our new schedule next week, there'll be some reduced hours. I don't have any choice. And a lot of businesses have laid people off or done the same, reduced the hours. And these people who work for me, they're in a difficult situation too. They're minimum wage people.
So Dave's putting on a brave face, as we saw, but he is using those MacGyver skills to put up that structure for his patio folks. And we can only hope for, the best and hope that everybody does abide by restrictions so we can get these restaurants back on their feet as soon as possible. With that, I'll throw it back to you in the studio, Jess.
Thanks for that, Nikki. Back in August, the province began implementing virtual court, where criminal case management appearances were done via video or audio conference. The idea behind the new process is to allow courts to continue proceedings and clear any backlog of cases that happened due to the pandemic. Locally, this led to the Halton Hills Public Library offering their space for these virtual courts. Melissa Candelaria reports.
The Halton Hills Public Library has partnered with the Milton and Burlington courthouses to provide residents with space to access virtual court sessions. Community librarian Brant says it's important to offer residents additional services like virtual courts.
We recognize and we know that some individuals and residents of Halton Hills don't have access to a computer or Wi-Fi, and this is something that the library can help support, as well as the privacy in a safe space.
Community management appearances in these virtual courts include things like domestic violence, youth or federal matters, and Gillett says it will be offered at both library locations in Georgetown and Acton Monday to Friday from 10 until 5.
Mondays, it's a split day because of our operating hours. So Monday mornings, the court is accessible in Acton, and Monday afternoon, it's accessible in Georgetown. And then Tuesday to Friday, it is at both branches from 10 until 5. To access the court, or to how to find out information as to how they can access the court and the libraries, when individuals visit the courthouse, they're given an option as to where they would like to appear. And then they are handed the information that the library has provided if they choose Halton Hills Public Library, and they receive all of the information at that time.
In order to attend a court session at either library location, you need a Halton Hills Library card with valid ID or proof of address. Residents without valid ID or proof of address can get a transitional library card or a virtual card. You also need to arrive 15 to 30 minutes early for your court session. Reporting for Halton News, I'm Melissa Candelaria.
Halton Region's Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Hamida Magani, released a new video today to help keep Halton residents updated and informed when it comes to our local COVID-19 situation.
Today, I want to provide you with an update on COVID-19 in our community. With cases across the province and in Halton continuing to increase, we are clearly heading in the wrong direction. Our weekly incidence rate has gone from 3 confirmed cases per 100,000 people in early September to hovering around 55 per 100,000 by early November. If we continue along this path, we could see more than 100 cases per day in Halton before the holidays. This week, based on the thresholds outlined in the provincial COVID-19 response framework, Halton entered the province's red control level. In this level, there are additional measures that we all must follow. In addition to the measures for businesses and workplaces, we all have to take personal responsibility and individual actions to get the virus under control. We know that social gatherings and non-essential group activities are a significant source of COVID-19 cases. We know that the virus spreads when people are in close contact, and we know that it can be passed on by people without visible symptoms. As a community, we need to act on this knowledge now. Our individual actions can either stop the spread of COVID-19 or lead to some devastating consequences. Think about the multiple people who have to self-isolate after coming into contact at a gathering with someone with COVID-19. Think about the parents unable to work when their child is sent home to isolate because of an exposure at school. Some of these parents struggle to put food on the table for their families and may struggle even more this month if they have to miss work. Think about the devastating ripple effect when COVID-19 enters places where those at highest risk for COVID-19 live, such as our long-term care homes. We have a choice right now, Halton. Please stay home except for essential purposes, such as going to work or school, buying groceries, and attending medical appointments. And please only send one person from your household out for those errands. Stick with your household only. Maintain a physical distance of 2 meters or 6 feet from those outside your household. For those who live alone, You may include essential supports or join a designated household. Stop all in-person social gatherings such as play dates, birthday parties and dinners, and holiday parties with friends or family. Have the courage to politely decline if you are invited to such a gathering. The past months of isolation, worry, and lifestyle changes have taken a toll on all of us, and I realize that these recommended measures are difficult. Know that the actions of each and every individual matters a great deal. By taking these actions now, we can prevent a worse scenario. To learn more about public health measures, the situation in Halton, and what it means to be in the red control level, visit halton.ca/COVID-19. If you have specific questions about the red control level, contact the provincial Stop the Spread business information line. Thank you for doing your part.
And while some may find some of that messaging repetitive and many are fatigued, Halton's Associate Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Lobo, sympathizes, but also reminds us why we're doing this.
Yes, I think we all have to acknowledge that everyone is tired. Like, our leaders are tired, our healthcare professionals are tired, public is tired, emotionally, physically, mentally. They're also tired. Like, the message fatigue is also real. You're hearing the same things again and again. It's like, stop doing this, stop doing that. But we also have to acknowledge that the pandemic is still here. That's real as well. And what we have achieved, I think we just have to continue with that, with the hopes that we're able to stop this spread. So our strong recommendations have always been the same. Stay home. Only go out if it is essential. Do not have social gatherings. Like, maintain physical distancing from everyone else outside of your household. These messages have been the same. It is just that we need to continue to do this to not lose what we have achieved. And like you rightfully identified, like, we are not at a point where we are cutting essential services, and we want to prevent that from happening. So our strong recommendation, our request is that people continue to do what they have been doing, and to think before they act, and only indulge in things that are important and essential.
Still ahead, the fire service woman locally who won the President's Trailblazer Award. We'll be right back with that after this. Welcome back to Halton News. The Oakville Fire Department was disappointed to have had to cancel the Fire Service Women of Ontario Symposium they were supposed to host, but instead they held a small socially distant ceremony yesterday to recognize the President's Trailblazer Award winner. Here it is.
This year's winner is unique in that nominations came from both within her own fire department and many others, based on the positive impact she has had on the lives and professional careers of so many firefighters. It is an honor and a privilege to present this year's President's Trailblazer Award to 26-year veteran Oakville firefighter and Assistant Platoon Chief Joanne Blanchette. Chief Blanchette is a true trailblazer for many women in the fire service, having showed great leadership and perseverance in taking on legal challenges to ensure her employer and union met their obligations to protect her rights as a pregnant woman in the workforce and the fire service. When Joanne was pregnant with her first daughter, Grace, she struggled with managing modified duties on straight days. Her collective agreement had a provision for on-shift modified duties, but she did not have the support of her union to move forward with the grievance. Under her own steam and with her own finances, Joanne proceeded with a hearing at the Ontario Human Rights Tribunal. Her struggle started in 2005 and didn't end until after the birth of her second daughter, Lucy, in 2009. But Joanne didn't stop there. She continued to advocate for pregnant firefighters in her own and other departments. She traveled and attended many days of arbitration to support other firefighters. Monique Belair, Deputy Fire Chief of Oakville, has had this to say about Joanne. It is important to note that earlier in Joanne's career, regardless of the possible backlash from her peers and colleagues, she engaged in the onerous task of challenging the paternity policy of the day. The outcome was groundbreaking for future women in the fire service that would face this same issue.
On behalf of women across the country, thank you for being a trailblazer. Thank you for being determined, and thank you for being a role model for the future generations. Congratulations.
I'd like to thank Chief Boissonneau. I don't have much to say other than thank you, and I'd like to continue to encourage women not only to, when they join the fire service, to not just think it ends up being a firefighter, put in for promotions, become an acting captain, keep moving forward, and lead by example. And I'll be here to help every step of the way. Thank you very much.
I think that the award in itself, that it's the President's Trailblazer Award, I mean, it couldn't be any better of a story. You had Oakville's very first female firefighter, now recognized on the path that she has blazed for others. She's now in the Assistant Platoon Chief role here in the department. She is exemplifying leadership, she's doing a fantastic job, and she's showing other people here that possibilities are endless, and the work that you do matters.
Women represent only 4% of workers in the fire service, and we often struggle to find each other and support each other because of our low numbers. But firefighters like Joanne have really made a gigantic effort to support other women, to support all firefighters on the job by actively working to change policies and to support all of us in becoming better workers and having better health and safety policies as well.
A little warmer out there today compared to the past couple of days. Taking a look at our 5-day outlook, you can see that we do have cloudy skies ahead for the weekend, but tomorrow we will have a glimpse of sunshine again and up to 14 degrees. Enjoy that mix of sun and clouds. On Saturday, those clouds will roll in. We'll only reach 7 and then cooling down quite a bit on Sunday, 4 degrees as our afternoon high. We are expecting periods of rain throughout the day. 60% chance that those showers will continue on Monday, and then we'll be back to that sunshine on Tuesday, but only 1 degree above zero. And now we'll look to how some of Halton's top companies performed on the markets today. Still ahead, the YMCA Peace Week Oakville Medals of Honor are going to be presented. We'll be right back. The YMCA of Oakville held their annual community breakfast for peace virtually this morning and celebrated individuals and groups who have made significant contributions towards peace building by awarding 4 peace medals. The Peace Medal for Youth Individual went to Evan Mueller, a grade 12 student at Oakville Trafalgar High School. After reading about the increase in food bank use during the pandemic, he created the Fresh Food Project to provide boxes of fresh local produce to Oakville families who were in need, while also helping small farmers whose businesses were suffering. The Adult Peace Medal went to Juliette Duke. Originally from Guyana, South America, Juliette immigrated to Canada in 1974 and was made aware of the need to support people who found themselves displaced or abused. Juliette started a group home where she supported young moms, abused women, and displaced teenagers. When she moved to Oakville in 1998, she continued to work to make others' lives better and partnered with Food for Life, the YMCA, and Art House to do it. 2 group medals were also awarded, one to the Halton Youth Initiative, which is a youth-led group within North Oakville, Acton, Aldershot, and Milton. Their goal is to encourage youth voice and to empower youth to get involved and have a positive impact within the community. The group focuses on identifying issues in the community and taking action by collaborating and discovering solutions. The other group award went to the Loyola Development and Peace Student Club, who helps the world's poor in reiterating the call for global solidarity to help the most vulnerable populations in the global south so that they may have access to a better life in which they have the necessary economic and social instruments. Student members take their commitment seriously in a role where they can make change for betterment of others by using student voice, student perspectives, creativity, and student passion for helping each other, and drive in order to make the world a better place. And last but certainly not least, a heartwarming story of community kindness right here in Burlington, as told by the Executive Director of the Burlington Food Bank, Robin Bailey.
Just one quick story for you. We heard of one of our volunteers being out the other day at a No Frills, and they were shopping for their groceries, had everything on the belt. It all went through, and when they went to pay, their card wouldn't go through. They struggled with it. Finally gave up, went out to their car to get some cash, figured out that they only had $20 and the bill was a little bit over $50. When they came back trying to figure out what they were going to put back, they had found out that the person behind them had actually paid for their entire bill. Just an incredible story of the generosity of people here in Burlington, and it really hit this person quite significantly in that they were feeling on the receiving end of generosity that they didn't need, and just really appreciated that gesture from somebody who was just looking out for them. And the very feeling of what am I going to put back made them realize what a number of our clients have to struggle with when they're going shopping and trying to figure out exactly how much they have. I remember early on for me, when I struggled financially, I would do all the math in my head going up to the register trying to figure it out whether I was going to be able to afford it or not. And I literally at times, my heart would skip as I went to pay with my debit, and when it went through, almost like I had won the lottery. So I remember those times, and I'm glad that there were places like this food bank and other really generous people around who are willing to help out. Continue that great generosity here in Burlington. And one of the ways you can do that is with the local food drives that are going on. We know that there's one coming up this weekend with Ward 2. Go to our website, check out our current events, and see how you can support us through those various food drives. And again, if you need our assistance, info@burlingtonfoodbank.ca, or give us a call, 905-637-2273.
Thanks for watching us here on Halton News. We'll be back tomorrow night, live at 5. For Halton News, I'm Jessica Kading.